Did you understand? I didn't think so. My Yupik name is Jisiah. I come from a place called Ohavanut. That's the second word up there. It means place of white clay. I am a Yupik man. I do come from the villages of Bethel and Antioch on the Kuskokwim River. I graduated from here in 2006 with a bachelor's degree in English. Completed my capstone project in honors, transforming a traditional Yupik story into a contemporary play that we performed at the Performing Arts Center here in Anchorage, and that was back in 2006. I am a first-year advisor, like Heidi said, and I'm really glad to be in this classroom. In fact, my first semester at UAA was in a classroom very much like this. It was Alaskan Native Perspectives, taught by Floyd Guthrie. And that was my first introduction to UAA, and my first semester here was the start of an amazing academic journey that you are all a part of now as UAA students. And so please make the most of your journey as you are learning the ways of the world here at UAA. I gave you a little brochure thingy, and that is Seawolf Tracks. How many of you have downloaded Seawolf Tracks onto your phone? A couple of you, all right. How many of you were familiar of Seawolf Tracks prior to seeing that little pamphlet? Okay, cool, more, cool. Now, that app is pretty cool. It will allow you to make an appointment with your advisor. It will allow you to schedule study buddies. It will sync your calendar, your schoolwork, and your school calendar all on your phone, so you'll never miss an important date or deadline. There's some stuff that you need to add into there to make it a little bit more useful for you, but it's a really good starting point, and I would highly suggest going to the App Store or Google Play or what have you, and downloading that and putting it on your phone. How many of you have met with your advisor so far this semester? Awesome. How many of you registered for classes last semester for this semester? Awesome. Well, good job. Good job, everybody. So I think you all deserve a congratulations for being here at UAA this semester. I think you all deserve a applause. So I want to tell you a brief story. Heidi asked me if I had a little bit of a story that had to do with contact with missionaries and whatnot. And my capstone project was done on Yupik warfare. And so in the context of this tradition of storytelling and warfare and missionaries, when the missionaries came, that's kind of the context in which I'm going to tell you this story. So, a long time ago, long time ago, there was the War of the Eye. The War of the Eye began in the coastal parts of Alaska. If you look like so, this is kind of like the hub of Yupik country. But out here on the coast near a village called Chivak, that's where the war or the Battle of the Eye first began. And it spread throughout Yupik country and lasted for about 2,000 years, give or take. We don't really know for sure, but it was a really long time. And it was done not all the time, but it was done like every fall. So every August and September, we would say, oh, we're done gathering all of our food, let's go kill some people. And that's exactly what we did every fall. And there were strict rules and guidelines to what you could do as a warrior or with battle and things like that. You only battled in certain times of the year. That was when nothing else was really going on, and that was in the lull between summer and fall time. So battles took place every year for thousands of years. Now, this one battle took place where the Yukon people were going to fight against the Kuskokwim people. And what they said they were going to do is they were going to lay waste to the entire Kuskokwim River, from Kalskag down. How many of you know where Kalskag is on the Kuskokwim River? All right, cool. So that's a really long ways. It's about maybe 100 miles of river that they were going to decimate. However, there were two boys that were hunting on this river called the Johnson River. That's between the Yukon and the Kuskokwim rivers. And they saw this war party coming. What they did was they beelined back to their village of Kalskag, told them of this ambush that was going to be coming. And so what the people of Kalskag did was they sent runners or messengers to nearby villages. And all of the warriors from those villages came to Kalskag just prior to this war party coming from the Yukon River. There is a creek, it's actually a slough, it's a dead-end slough, just south or downriver of Kalskag. It's called Mud Creek. It's called Makhduli in Yupik. It means constantly oozing mud water. That's what Mud Creek is. There's another story behind that, but I won't delve into this at this time. Anyways, what the people were going to do, the Yukon people, is they were going to come and they were going to park all their boats in Mud Creek and then attack Kalskag from the back side or the land side, not the riverfront side. And so it was going to be this sneak attack. However, the Kuskokwim people were all lining the banks of this creek. When all the boats were in there, they rained arrows down on them and killed every single one of the warriors who were coming to kill the Kuskokwim people. They saved one man. His name was Akuksak. And they sent him back home after cutting off his ear. He was so disoriented after watching all of his iluks die, his partners. After they all died, he was in shock, like immediate PTSD. And he was like, I don't know which way is downriver. And so a man walked up to him, cut off his ear, and threw it in the river, and said, follow your ear home. And so that's what Akuksak did, was he got in his kayak, and he couldn't kayak all the way back home to the Yukon River, which took a really long time. So it took a while for the Yukon people to reestablish their numbers and for the young men to grow up and for them to have revenge on the Kuskokwim people. During this time, something significant happened. The first Russian missionaries came up the Kuskokwim River. And they stopped in a few places. There were Moravian missionaries. It was called John Kilbuck. He came up. Now, when the first traders came, they were just interested in trading furs and stuff like that. And so one of the things that was traded to these two little boys was a pair of ice skates for these two really rich traders' sons. And so they got the first ice skates ever seen in Alaska, I'm pretty sure. And so they wore these ice skates. They thought they were the coolest things ever. Now, there was an alashbuk. How many of you know what an alashbuk is? So, yeah, there's hiding over there. Alashbuk is a shaman, a healer, a medicine man, someone who is highly gifted spiritually. Basically, that's kind of what a alashbuk is. This alashbuk had a vision that there were going to be scouts coming, and these scouts were going to determine if they were going to go to war against the Kuskokwim people. So the Yukon people were going to come back again. And so they sent these two scouts. And this shaman, this alashbuk, who is in Ohagamute, my village, gathered these two boys and said, okay, what you're going to do is I'm going to call you one morning, and you're going to come with me with your ice skates as fast as you can. And then what you're going to do is you're going to race across the Kuskokwim River, which is maybe almost a quarter of a mile wide at that juncture. It's a really, really big river. So it's about a quarter mile wide, long, long ways. And they're going to race across the Kuskokwim River and then back again. And so one day the shaman called those two boys and said, come and race. And so those two boys, young boys, 7, 8, 9 years old or so, put on their ice skates, and they zoomed across the Kuskokwim River and zoomed back again faster than anything. Nobody could run that fast. The two scouts were on the ridge watching. And they went back to their village and they said, yeah, we're not going to fight them Kuskokwim people. Even their little boys are fast as the wind. And so a pair of ice skates diverted war from happening just after contact happened with the Russian people. It's a story that my dad told me when I was a little boy. And I wanted to be so fast on my ice skates. I just thought that was the coolest thing. So, not too long later, my great-grandfather, his name was Ohagamute Sam, and his name has come from that place. Now, there was a pretty famous anthropologist, his name was Wendell Oswald. I think he came from California or something like that, and he's written a lot of books about the Yupik region of Alaska. And so this guy comes up and spends a lot of time with my great-grandfather, Ohagamute Sam Simeon. And so we're at our spring camp, and my grandfather's telling me this story, and this big highfalutin anthropologist comes with my great uppa, and they're going to go on his trapping line. And so he stops at this one little cabin that's on his place, and they're going to cook up some food. They get some foods going and whatnot. And so he pulls out these little tin pans that are basically like gold panner pans, tin, really flimsy. And so he hands him the plate to this Wendell Oswald guy, and Wendell's like, it's got like food on it still. And so my grandfather took that plate, brought it outside, and gave it to his dog team and said, here, clean this. And it was all nice and clean. He brought a freshly licked, clean plate back to Wendell Oswald and said, oh, look here, I cleaned your plate for you. Freshly cleaned, it was spot fresh. Anyways, that's a little bit of the story about contact, warfare, things like that. There was a lot of things that happened on after that. But that pretty much sums up the warfare, the ending of warfare, and the beginning of contact within our region. There is an end of warfare story that actually solidifies the end of warfare. That story is called Panik's Revenge and the End of Warfare. It's actually published. You can find it in Anguim Nahini, which is the time of warfare, which specifically talks about warfare in the region. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention. Do you have any questions at this time?